oh, whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, oh. Down from the heavens bearing the gift that is me, my name is Jovidius, and I am here today to tell all of you about a show that I like. It's about this kid and his name's Deku. Well, actually, it is Izuku, but that's not important. What's important is he wants to be a superhero. Only problem is he got no powers, and a lot of other people do. And he meets a guy who says, "Eat my hair," so he says, "Okay," and he does. Now, guess what? He's got them because that guy had powers too. Because his name is All Might, and he's the best hero around because his never is number 2. So he goes to a school that is filled with some super-powered kids, and he's learned to use those powers without breaking his bones. Down from the heavens bearing the gift, it's Jometheus. And today is the inaugural episode number 1, uno numero, in a little series I'm gonna call, "You Really Want Me to Watch This?" To which the answer is always yes, except for when it's no. This week I'm here to talk to you about a little show called My Hero Academia, otherwise known as Boku no Hero Academia, My Hero, Boneha, Macadamia, Tony Hawk's Pro Hero 3, Green Naruto, etc. If you're already a fan of this show, this is probably just going to be a little fun little thing. Maybe watch it, maybe have a laugh. If you're not a fan of the show, this will give you some of my little personal opinion. It might just help make you have that ever-important decision, whether it's a show worth watching, it is, or it's just some stupid weeb shit, it is. Now, if you've ever watched something like The Incredibles, or read something like maybe, I don't know, I guess X-Men sort of does this, but not really too much. A certain percentage of the population is born with superpowers, superhero powers. In this universe, never really explain too much how does that work exactly. Well, you don't have them? Well, guess what? That's the reasoning that's because you don't got that extra joint in your toe, Dumby. It's brought up like one time and never again. It's kind of weird. You gotta have that extra toe bone, my friend. How else you think you're gonna shoot flames out your face? Stupid. Now, our hero, or, well, I know he's my hero. Roll credits. His name's Izuku Midoriya. Midoriya is born without superpowers, and he's also born without a quirk, which is what superpowers are called in this universe. Now, interestingly enough, even though not everybody has one, the fact that he doesn't kind of makes everybody make fun of him. Like, all the rest of the kids laugh and call him names, don't let him play in any of their reindeer games. They're all gonna laugh at you. Well, I mean, it's that, and also the fact that, like, how he cries at the drop of a hat. But, being a quirkless crybaby doesn't stop him. He just is, like, the biggest hero fan of all time. He knows all of them. He knows every single one, every single human being in the entire population of heroes. He knows them. He knows their stats. He knows this guy's this strong, this guy does this lady can grow the size of a fucking building, and her weakness is like a really well-made chicken cordon bleu. Point is, he keeps up on him from watching the news, watching him smash his town to pieces, from his fantasy football league, but instead of how many footballs he catch, just how many people just didn't die. Gotta get All Might out there. He's the number 1 hero because he punches harder than anybody else. It's the only metric that matters. And he not only wants to be a hero, but he wants to go to the best hero school too. The U of A, or UA. For some reason, Midoriya has a friend named Katsuki Bakugo. You can tell they're friends because Izuku says stuff like, "I love you, you're my best friend, I will always be there to support you," and Bakugo says stuff back, "Why don't you kill yourself?" Now, Bakugo is always being the best friend he can be by telling Izuku nice things like, "I don't like you, stop following me, you're worthless scum. Deku, you are worthless. Also, I call you Deku instead of Izuku because Deku is Japanese for worthless, and also maybe sometimes a small puppet. Give up on your dreams. Kill yourself." Again, I definitely said that. That was one of the first words out of my mouth in this whole series, and for some reason people still think that I'm a cool guy. Just best friend stuff. Don't worry though, it's like 150 issues later, he starts getting a little bit better. Now, despite their many differences, they also have some similarities, such as the fact that they both really like the number 1 hero, All Might. When he's not busy convincing himself that deep down Katsuki Bakugo really loves him, Deku keeps himself busy with other delusions, like clinging to the hope that he can someday become a hero, even though literally everyone in his life, including his mom, tells him he shouldn't become a hero. Literally everyone. Not one person supports him. Not his friends, not his teachers, not even his mom. It's kind of sad. You don't got powers, fuck you, kid. One day, Deku's walking down the street, all down in the dumps, when he turns to the wrong page in the Choose Your Own Adventure book. He finds himself being force-fed goo from a huge tentacle okay, I know it said... It's not... Don't worry about it. It's not one of those... It's just a regular anime. But as it turns out, walking down that alley was exactly the rightest ways to do it. Because guess who shows up but the number one hero and his personal idol, Johnny Bravo. Now All Might takes his big fist, big old puncher, bam, punches that goo monster right in his liquidous face, and somehow the blunt force makes him explode or something. I don't know. And he takes all that goop, scoops it up, gathers it up somehow. I don't know exactly how. And he puts it all into this soda bottle, like a 2-liter soda bottle. We don't know exactly what happened, and the reason for it is because, well, other than the fact it doesn't make any goddamn sense, Zuko was too busy being passed out and choking on pudding to be conscious for it. All Might turns to him with his bottle of Mountain Doom. He says to Midoriya, "Catch you later, numbnuts." And he jumps in the sky, takes off like he's zooming, like he's flying, but he's not. He just jumped really high, and he's soaring through the sky, all majestic, except for the fact he's got Deku grabbed a ride on his leg. He's like, "Get off of me!" He starts shaking his leg, and he's like, "Don't kill me, please." So he's like, "Oh yeah." They land on top of a roof with Cinderella, it's past midnight, get the fuck out of here, the kitchen timer, ding ding, brownie's done. Johnny Bravo, Superman turns into a skeleton. Look at, oh shit, that's scary. Midoriya's like, "Oh god, it's a skeleton, what the fuck?" All Night's just like, "Don't even worry about it, it's okay, don't." Darth Vader blew my organs out like 20 years ago. I'm fine. It's okay. He coughs up some blood because he's fine. Actually, it turns out he's only able to be an American comic book for as long as it takes to microwave a Hot Pocket. And then when the Hot Pocket's done, he shrivels up and turns all gross and gushy like the inside of a Hot Pocket. Now, All Might is dismayed to find that he dropped the Mountain Dew bottle on his way trying to kill Midoriya. And he says, "Later, dumb shit. Don't tell anybody about my organs, please." Zuko's like, "Wait, I gotta ask you something, please. What you think about me being a superhero, huh?" And All Might basically tells him, although All Might, some definitely shouldn't. Don't do that. And that's coming from, gushy skeleton guy. And like, I mean, trust me, he would know. So Deku starts walking home again. He's feeling worse than ever. His personal idol, the last person in his life that he looked up to think that he could become a hero, told him, "Don't do that." So he's kind of walking all dejected along the road, and then he's thinking about his dinner's going to be super cold because he just got stopped like 20 times trying to walk home today. When guess who shows up? It's the Mountain Dew Man again. And guess what? He's got Bakugo in his hands and his gushy tentacle. I don't know. Now, any normal person to be like, "Damn, that sucks." I mean, for him, not for me. I mean, I was just talking to All Might. I mean, this kid might die. I mean, well, karma's a bitch. The Marionette's not a normal kid. Against any kind of logic or reason at all, he starts running, not away from the shit show nightmare, towards it. Why? Because he's a hero, baby. My hero. Academia. Roll credits. No, but he rushes in to fight. He chucks his book bag at him like it's gonna do anything. Like, I mean, what the fuck do you think? It's a book bag. Like, it's not like you can blow a liquid apart with brute force. That'd be stupid. So he saves this kid, because not only is he a true case of Stockholm Syndrome, but he's also a hero. But now, putting monsters bearing down on both of them, they're probably going to die, but hey, at least went out with a bang. Speaking of bang, he's back. Number one hero, baby. Symbol of peace himself, major glory. With a big blow of brute force. Only logical way to beat a liquid monster. I can't stress that enough. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Bam, that thing's gone. He turns around, he looks at Midoriya with that big old smile on his face, and he says, "That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. But good job." And then everybody else, all the other heroes, all the, like, Mount Lady, Giant Lady, and what's his name? Kamoy. Chalmoy Woods, and comes out, and everybody's like, "Damn, man, that was cool as shit. You're cool. Man, you're so cool, kid. I love it. You're a goddamn moron, but it's so cool though." After everything's said and done, Midoriya's walking home again. His chicken cutlets at home are ice cold, and Bakugo runs into him. He comes up to him. He says, "Hey, man, I know I'm always telling you how worthless you are and to kill yourself, and I just wanted to say after today, never try to save me again. You're worthless scum. I still hate you. Eat shit and die." Real class act. He's such a cool guy, man. And then All Might shows up. Skeleton version. He's like, kid, you know who made the difference in that situation? And he's like, you? And he's like, no. Well, yes, you probably would have died on your own, but no, you made the difference. You ran in when nobody else would. You put yourself before... No, wait. You put his life before yours. You know who does that? I'll tell you. A hero. My hero. Academia. Roll credits. And then he ends up, there's a lot of misadventures. He goes to a hero school. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool stuff. That's a basic short little recap of the first episode, so you don't have to spend the whole time watching it. Now, the pros of this show. It's got a lot of heart. There's a lot of beautiful, heartfelt moments, accentuated with great musical cues. Does an excellent job of giving you this feeling of catharsis every time somebody's able to pull off a big feat of superheroics. There's this big overarching theme of anybody can be a hero. It's kind of like the Ratatouille of superheroes, because it's about ideology and not necessarily biology. Like, it doesn't matter, you're born with fucking superpowers. If you got the heart for it, you can do it. How physically strong you are doesn't matter compared to how willing you are to put your life on the line, protect those who need you. Without spoiling things too much, Midoriya's constantly all but destroys his body to save people. He's not genetically built for superheroics. They don't shy away from that, which is pretty cool. His first real feat of heroism during his entrance exam turns his arm into jelly. And even though there's this superhero with magical healing powers, his body takes a toll because he's not built for it. As the series goes on, he gets scars, his bones don't heal the same way, he's sacrificing himself for others. As Midoriya grows, along with his classmates, his skill and his experience grow, but so does the threat. The series does a pretty good job at every consecutive arc upping the stakes just a bit more to make things feel like real life or death. There's a very large, very, very cast of characters, with new heroes and villains entering and exiting the series frequently, each with unique and creative power sets that are very fun to see in action. There's some really interesting, unique power sets that I haven't really seen anywhere else before. Some of them are kind of riffs on other things that you've seen before. Some of them are kind of just stupid, but there's some very interesting ones. While we don't necessarily get too often whole character arcs for every single character, there's enough kind of small moments and interactions that everybody just kind of starts growing on you a little bit as the series goes on. For the most part, there's a couple of really wasted characters. The music's powerful, the openings and endings, as well as the original score. The animation is very often on point, which is good because there's a good deal of action on a per episode basis. Although the spectacle and the sentiment still managed to have a good balance. The bad. I mentioned before that the show seems to up the stakes every arc, but while that's true, they can start to feel sort of artificial after a while. I'll explain what I mean. If you keep talking about the threat and what can potentially happen without us ever really seeing the impact of that, it can start to feel a little bit stale. That's not to say that there aren't ever any consequences, but early on in the series especially, the supposedly incredibly dangerous League of Villains attacks the school while the kids are barely even training yet, so they don't know how to use their powers. And by the end of it, there's not so much as like a broken bone, a lasting injury. Nobody gets really hurt of the kids, which is like these villains who've been using their powers for years got stomped by these preteens and whatnot. So then when they show up again, it's like, why should I really be worried about this group that's supposed to kind of be the big bad of the series when there's no injuries, there's no lasting consequences, no psychological trauma, there's no death, there's what am I worried about if they're going to show up again? Nothing's going to happen again. There's definitely some situations that do feel dangerous, especially in the moment. If anything, it's I don't think that there's ever a wasted moment, like a wasted fight where they don't learn anything from it, which, I mean, they're at a superhero high school, so kind of the whole point is to learn. They're doing some real trial by fire shit. But, it's a thing of, lasting consequences can make those conflicts seem more real. Like with Deco, Art Deco, and his body, the fact that when he uses his powers in a way that his body can't really handle it, that's something at least. That's he has to think about, I can't just recklessly jump into things. He has the scars to remember. His bones aren't healed the right way. He has to remember that. It's I feel like while there are a few things throughout the series that do that very well, particularly in recent arcs, like in the comics, haven't gotten there in the show yet. Just for a while, the stakes seem a little bit artificial, just to me. On the whole ensemble cast thing, while it's fun to have a whole cast of lovable characters, it can kind of make it difficult to really balance and spotlight specific people. There's definitely characters you can tell are both fan favorites and also of the creator, because on one hand you'll have like a lot of small moments with side characters like Mina and Kirishima, but including some big defining ones. But then you have less popular or interesting characters like Shoji, who has a tail, and his personality is he has a tail, where you don't really get much from them, and they kind of fall to the background like all the time. It's not a huge issue, and it's completely understandable when you have so many characters to juggle that you're not really going to highlight every single one of them the same. Otherwise, you probably would never get more than like 2 minutes with a character per show. Especially also if you're trying to kind of progress the story forward in a natural way, trying to give everybody their kind of own little spotlight would sometimes probably feel artificial if you tried to do that, like try to force it. So it's kind of better the way that they're doing it kind of makes them so that when they do have highlights, it's usually brought up in a natural kind of way. Just the side effect of this, though, is sometimes you'll have a moment where it's like it can feel really intense and genuine, and it's like, oh my god, I hope that nothing happens to this character, and then it cuts to Mineta crying in the corner and shitting in his diaper and his life's in danger, and a rare moment when he's not sexually harassing somebody, and just kind of like, oh no, I hope nothing happens to Mineta, I guess. And that can kind of take you out of it a little bit. I mean, a lot of the show's weaknesses and strengths are the same root. In a lot of ways, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Pacing for how the characters grow and learn feels justified, but in some situations, the jump in power kind of feels disproportionate to the toll it takes. Like, I'll watch Midoriya sacrifice himself in an increasingly intense and selfless ways any day of the week. Don't get me wrong. But, if you're telling me that he pushes himself past the limits that his body can handle every single time that he uses them, and then the most lasting consequences are that, like, he has some scars and, oh, he's just gotta rest a while, but then next week he's gonna do the exact same thing again, it'll be fine. Which can feel like a little bit disingenuous, especially if you're doing it the same way again and again and again. I'm not gonna say that this series has been as bad as that, although it can kind of feel a little ridiculous sometimes how high his powers can get. I think what's a little bit more interesting for me is, and it's something that they do pretty often also, is he will see how a situation is unfolding. He will realize that he can't physically push his body any further, and he'll think of a better way to approach it, whether that's with a different fighting style or using the powers of the people around him to his advantage. But I like that kind of thing, because at the end of the day, it's like he's a smart kid, and that's what he's always had going for him, is that he knows the heroes and he knows how to approach a situation. He's very analytical. And while some of the most powerful moments in the series has been him just selflessly rushing in, like, I don't care if I die, this is gonna be so, I'm just pushing my body to the limit, I'm just putting all the power that I can, and like, those moments can be super powerful, and some of those moments is like, I love him, that's such a good guy. It can sometimes feel like it's not necessarily in line with his character, but like I said, it's not like all the time, it's just, it kind of skates the line a little bit, where it can feel like it's approaching that. But yeah, in general, that's another one of my favorite shows. This is probably this is the first episode of this that I've ever put out, so I do recommend it a lot. I think the first couple seasons are on Hulu, I think. If you have Hulu, they have them on there. They will have the subtitles and the dub titles. I think they also have them on Crunchyroll, but I don't have a Crunchyroll subscription because I'm a weeb, but I'm not a full weeb. I can't even commit to that. But on my My Hero Academia scale, this one gets a 10 out of 10 because it's the show, yes. Until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to stay safe, stay cute, and I love you. Bye!